Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. My name is Mary Claire Potter, and it's my pleasure today to interview the candidates running for Hudson City Council. At this time, I'd like to welcome the two candidates running for District 1, Vicki Erickson and Randy Morset, who is the incumbent. So I'd like to welcome Randy and Vicki. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As we talked about, I will first ask you to talk about yourself, your background and your qualifications, and then we have a series of questions and I'll alternate between the two of you. So Vicki, if you could please start and tell us about yourself, your background, qualifications.
Sure. First, Mary Claire, I'd like to thank you for getting us together here this evening. I've been a Hudson resident for almost 17 years. I'm married. My husband, Stu, was born and raised here in Hudson. I have two children. My daughter, Christina, is an attorney at the Pentagon out in D.C., and my son is 14, and he'll be entering high school next year. My career began in sales before starting a computer company called Abacus Plus, which sold hardware and software. I sold that after about 11 years to take a year off to spend with my son. During that time, I co-chaired the capital campaign to build a new church on Vine Street. From there, I got my real estate license and worked for Edina Realty for about 3 years. And it really gave me a sense of home values and what affects them. Currently, I provide accounting and bookkeeping services, primarily to businesses here in Hudson. I've been doing that for about 8 years, and it really gave me a good sense of budgets and working on financials. My community involvement started I was helped to start a nonprofit formerly called The Source, which is actually here in this building, which helps resource center for people in need. About 4 years ago, we merged with Operation Help, and I'm on the board, and I'm a current treasurer for Operation Help.
Great. Thank you, Vicki.
Yeah, thank you.
Randy.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. As far as my background qualifications, I'm a born and raised Hudsonite. I've been involved with a lot of things in the community. One in particular, the Phipps Center. I know you kind of have a fondness. I think the whole community has a fondness for the Phipps Center. It's kept me out of trouble as a kid. I was 13 years of acting, and I kind of did every aspect of theater down at the Phipps Center. So that was really a good experience for me in developing who I came to be today. I'm married, I have a wife, 2 kids. A 16-year-old just got his license, and he's out there driving, so, and a 12-year-old. And I've been on the council now for almost 9 years. I was appointed on an expired term, and then I ran consecutively after that to continue on to serve. I was the president once before, back in I think 2004. I'm not sure on the exact number. I'm the current president of the council now. I've been the chairman of the Public Safety Board. I've been on every committee except the Cable Access Board, but that's okay. I've been involved with Rotary for 14 years, and I was the past community service chair. I was an ambassador to the Chamber of Commerce when you were down there, and on the tourism committee for the city for many years, actually probably about as long as I can remember, which I also was given an opportunity to be awarded a Chamber Member of the Year in 2002. I think you were there, weren't you?
I just left.
Okay. That was a great experience, and it happened to be with the same time I got honored with June Erdman, and she was presented an award that year too, which was kind of nice because she kind of helped raise me through all that and kind of made me who I am today. I've been the past president of the Hudson Community Daycare, where my sons both went, and I was instrumental in helping build that new facility at the time for the Catholic Charities Bureau. I was the past president of the Hudson Rod and Gun Club for the last 3 years, I think. Past finance committee to the St. Patrick's Church. And I've also been appointed, and I just got confirmed on my second third-year term with the Wisconsin State Supreme Court to be on the Judicial Conduct Advisory Board. So that was kind of a neat honor. Not every day you get a call from Chief Justice of your state, Shirley Abramson, so that was really neat. And I'm still serving on that.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm the most qualified right now between the two of us, and nothing, like I say, against you, Vicki. It's just I've dealt and learned to deal with strong partners in the DNR of the state of Wisconsin, the local other municipality leaders around us, to get things done. They know me. We've worked together on certain initials or projects in the past, and we've gotten a lot of tough decisions that we muddied our way through, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. You can never be 100% right in politics. It's 50-50. So, I made a very conscious point of being a common sense approach guy and making decisions. Does it make sense, and does it really fit what our community is looking for? So that's why I think, I'm dedicated to no special interests outside of the community. I'm not interested in any other units of government except what we can do for our citizens in the city.
Well, first of all, thank you both. You are both very active in the community, and Hudson prides itself on volunteerism and our citizens being involved in making a difference, and clearly both of you are doing that. So thanks to you both for your commitment to Hudson. So let's start with the questions, and Randy, I'll turn to you first. So why would you like to continue to serve on the Hudson City Council representing District 1?
Well, I've got a lot of unfinished projects in the district and the city that I want to see finished. We started the Wisconsin Street project, and we saved a lot of money by going after a grant to accomplish getting that whole section from Wisconsin Street on 11th all the way around to the high school redone, which hopefully we start construction in 2016 here. Well overdue to have that done. So that's one main thing. I want to keep focused on improving the infrastructure, and I know you have that question later, so I'll save the details for that later. But I also want to help and finish the new public safety building that's been talked about. We're really starting to focus in on that, and we've got some things happening, working into design phase and whatnot, and we got to find some land for it, whether we buy or we have the existing land that we can find. And we're leaving that to our chief the department to give us what kind of best fits where we should put it. That's the important part, because we have partners. We have to be conscious of their budgets and their geographical location. So, and I do want to finish a dog ordinance that came up lately, and I want to finish that. It's important, and we want to make sure it's balanced, so it doesn't affect just one particular person or one particular breed. So, I heard the residents. They spoke and we listened. So we're going to make sure we can do what we do and make sure that ordinance fits and it's enforceable. But overall, I have the spirit to serve the public. My mom and dad did it. My dad was chief of police for 25 years. Well, he was in the police department for 25 years, ended as acting chief. And my mom was always a big chamber supporter. So, I just want to give back to the community and continue to do so. And then use it with a common sense approach.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
Vicki, why would you like to serve on the Hudson City Council representing District 1?
Well, my passion for the Hudson community really blossomed once I moved here. I love this community, and I would like to serve on the City Council because I'd like to take a leadership role in the future growth of Hudson. There's a number of issues coming up, and we're going to be discussing them here. And I really think that I'm going to make every effort to have strong, effective communication between the council and the community. I think my background as a small business owner and history of community service also will lend itself well to getting that done.
Okay, great. Thank you, Vicki. So we're going to move on to our next question, which is, what do you think is the most important issue to be addressed by the Hudson City Council in the next 12 months?
Well, there's a number of issues coming up, and they revolve a lot around growth. We've got the golf course. There's a public meeting that's going to be held on April 13th. There's the public safety building that he mentioned, and actually the options that they're looking at that I think are going to be well received by the public. We've got the annexation over at Mayor Road. Of course, whatever the school's going to bring forward, and I do think it's important that, and it may not be in the next 12 months, but that we take a look at the 2009 comprehensive plan and really get that on the agenda to update that.
Okay. Randy?
I think the most important issue is that what she touched on is the golf course decision. You sitting on the Plan Commission have seen that come and go through the process. We have to understand the pros and cons with that development. So far, there is no final development plan on that, and until then, I would be very, you got to slow down and take a look at everything and make sure we have the infrastructure capability to accommodate the housing and plus the commercial development. We need access to that for both fire, more than just one or two access points. There needs to be a lot of details put out, and as she said, April 13th, I'd invite the public to come to that to find out, because that's going to affect that whole area up there, Carmichael included. So we need to be very cautious of it. You know, I always still hold out hope that maybe someone can come in and make it a golf course again. That'd be great. It is a jewel, and it's too bad that it went to that. But we are at a reality where we have to look at what's best as an overall city. And if that means developing into a housing development, it will bring more taxes base to our community. I mean, we've been very smart about how we utilize the funds that we have. You know, we've assessed our value, assessed value right now, and the mill rate is at 4.8. And it hasn't gone up or down in the last so many years. And we've also maintained our Moody's rating of a AA+. So we're incredibly sufficient, or I should say, very good at our monies and how we are budgeting and balancing what approaches we take on infrastructure and anything else that comes our way in the city. The more growth we have, and I say controlled growth, being smart about where we're putting these projects, and if we can handle it. I mean, everybody wants to see their favorite store or restaurant, but we have to be smart, and we have to do it where it's the traffic flows, the water sewer capability, which we're all very aware of on the council. I think the council have taken a really proactive approach on its comprehensive plan. We work diligently at coming up with a document we have, and it's very to the point. Denny Darnold has done a great job at that. The one thing we have to remember about all this growth and all this stuff, you know, the median income for the city of Hudson alone is $49,000. That's not a lot of money. So if we start raising taxes on all these initiatives, we're going to lose some folks. And in our district, we've got a lot of clustered housing, you know, low-income housing, middle-class people. We have to be very mindful of these folks that don't have a lot of money, and if we keep raising taxes, it's going to be extremely tough for them to live here. And I don't want to chase anybody out of town. So we have to do it smartly.
So, Randy, as you talk about spending and money, are there any areas where the city could reduce spending without affecting services for the residents?
No, I think that this council, we've done a great job in prioritizing the spending in the areas needed the most attention. For example, the infrastructure, the mill and overlays, the capital purchases, you know, Wisconsin Street's coming on board, all that. We're budgeting ahead of the project, so we're smarter at where we need to spend and prioritizing where we need to spend those monies. Because like I said, we don't want to overtax. We want to work within our budget and within what we have to work with. And keeping our mill rate down that we've done over the last, 9 years that I've been on the council has been a big part of that. You know, we have spent over the last 10 years, $10 million on infrastructure improvements. We just, for example, I can give you, you know, in 2009 we spent $2 million. 2011 we spent $2 million. 2013 we spent $5.4 million on infrastructure. And now this year we've bonded for $4 million. We are listening to the residents, the potholes that are out there. In most of the district, we have paved most of District 1's roads. So we're paying attention to the roads and the infrastructure needs. So we're getting it done. And we're keeping the money down when we're spending it. So infrastructure is important. We're running very streamlined. We've been very focused on that.
Okay. Vicki, from your perspective, any services you think or how the city could reduce spending without hurting the services for the residents?
Well, you've probably heard it a number of times. I literally checked out the budget. I went and picked that up, and it's very lean. And of course, you're going to try and find sustainable ways to reduce spending in some areas, but it's only going to be in order to you know, use it in others, because it's a balancing act. And to actually have something reduce spending and not have it affect the services, I just don't see that as an option.
Okay. So which brings us to some we've talked a little bit about, but is the city's plan for maintaining or improving the city's infrastructure, is it sufficient or not? Or yes, no, why or why not?
Well, I had an opportunity recently to talk with Tom Zuley, and he's, you know, kind of in charge of the infrastructure for the city. And there's a number of things that are going to be happening this next year with the road construction on Vine and Wisconsin Street. Again, the public safety, which they had 3 options that they put forth, and like I said, the one that they're looking at, I think, is a great plan, as it's the most cost effective. And so they're doing a good job. And he's seems like a great guy to work with. If I'm on the council, I definitely will be a strong advocate working within the budget to advance anything when it comes to the infrastructure, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Randy, any comments from your perspective of, is the city's plan, you know, maintaining and improving the infrastructure sufficient? Why or why not?
Yeah, like I said, we've streamlined what we did, and she's correct. The budget is as lean as it is, and you know, we spent $14 million on infrastructure since I've been on the council, and there's a lot more to be spent. So we're very mindful of those things, and you know, giving the tools to our staff members, Mr. Zuley, Denny Darnold, everybody. You know, we've really listened and really taken a hands-on approach. But not to micromanage, to let them do their jobs. Let educated people in their fields do their job. And they have done a great job with the parameters we've given them as far as finances.
Okay, great. So moving on to a little bit different topic, but still dealing with finances. So Randy, what are your ideas on how to financially sustain the library?
Well, the library, it's an interesting question you asked, I should say. Last year they ran in the black. So the things that we have done has given that library a nice shot in the arm. We increased, the partners, all except for North Hudson, increased the funding. I think it was $20,000. They're projected to look at maybe a smaller deficit this upcoming year, but they don't have a library director right now. Talking with Neil Soltis this afternoon, in fact, they could be running in the black for next year's budget. So what we've done is taken a great opportunity and made these partners stronger. They've all remained in the library, and they're going to continue to do that. The one thing is that I got to say this right, the Indian Head Federal Library System, we are the most efficient library based on them, and that's based on our circulation.
Okay.
Through the state of Wisconsin Indian Head Federated Library System. So we did the right thing. So anything else out there, you know, the library partners are not giving their $15,000 a year like they were committed to for 5 years. That's expired. So the board has done a great job pulling in their budget and operating within their means.
Okay.
So it's right. We're doing a good thing. So, and like I say, we're going to have a library in Hudson as long as I'm around, because it's good to have in a community.
Right, right. Well, and I think a lot of people look, you know, when they think about coming to Hudson, the schools, the library, all those pieces. So Vicki, do you have any ideas or on how to financially sustain the library, or?
Well, the library is a gem, you know, for this community, and I strongly would support the library. However, I think in order to come up with a solution, in working with the library board, the council really needs to take, you know, a leadership role in working together with them. Because sometimes I see a little, you know, just on a few, tension with regard to when the library board is present, and I just don't think that's necessary. You know, it's ineffective, and we're all about the betterment of the community. You know, what's in the best interest for the community. So.
Right. So moving on to a little bit different topic, but Vicki, do you think the city of Hudson should continue to annex land?
Absolutely. It's a part of growth, and unique, you know, to Wisconsin anyway, is when they're going to annex land, it actually comes from the landowner, and they're going to present what they want to do, similar to the Mayor Road annexation, you really need to look at how it affects the infrastructure, what it's going to cost to fix Mayor Road. And so you really do it on a case-by-case basis, but in general, annexation is good for the city.
Okay. Randy, do you think the city of Hudson should continue to annex land?
Controlled annexation. I mean, when they come, we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. Look at it, understand whether or not what the impacts will be on our water and sewer and our overall infrastructure. And when we do that, we've got to make sure it fits with like the comprehensive plan and with whatever fits into that. I mean, last night we made a tough decision on giving water to the YMCA for fire suppression. There are things out there, and obviously we can't do that until Mayor Road is annexed first. But it's smart growth, planning the growth, and knowing what our infrastructure will handle. Last year we did almost $30 million in new building, new construction, both commercial and residential. That's huge for our tax base. That helps offset what we can do, and those monies come back into the city's coffers, and we can start distributing that in infrastructure build, supporting more annexation, and really developing the community I think that we all want to look for.
So as you think about the annexation and so forth, I mean, what is your position, Randy, on allowing or limiting more residential or commercial development in Hudson?
It's controlled. You got to look at it, case by case. I'm glad to see that the golf course proposal right now has been pulled, and the other one was pulled, and now the new one was presented with less house. It's not as dense as it was going to be. So there's some things there that we have to look at. Can the city of Hudson water sewer support that on top of an annexation of the Mayor Road, which is a 95-house development? So we really got to be careful. We got to look at a case-by-case basis and make those decisions, whether we can smartly and listen to the staff of the city, whether we can accommodate those things. It's nice to know that we do have an infrastructure plan in place and a rainy day fund for the water sewer. So we are planning for the future, but we need to do it controlled.
Okay. Vicki, so what is your position on allowing or limiting additional residential or commercial development in Hudson?
Well, Hudson is a wonderful place to live, and growth is inevitable with that. And commercial growth is key as it brings jobs and tax revenue to Hudson. And residential growth, yes, it needs to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And that's why I think looking again at the comprehensive plan would be key right now. It's been a number of years, and it's a great plan and just needs to move forward with that.
Vicki, are there any other issues that you think the Hudson City Council should address at this time?
Well, I think whatever issues come forward on the council, whether it be from the community or the school or library boards or different community programs, I think it's important that we have just positive communication, respect when dealing with people, and really it's a partnership. I think anybody that has an idea, it's all about they're doing it for the better of the community. So I think on the council level, we need to see a little bit more of that. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Randy, what other issues do you think the Hudson City Council should address?
The main issue is the public safety building. We need to get a structure in place so we can do our due diligence for our partners who are relying on our services as fire and ambulance. We need to find a spot which is within the realm of our budget, it makes sense to all the operational assets of how we can best serve the communities that serves. We have to do it smartly, and we have to do it very conservatively. I think communication has been very good with most of the entities that we work. I think there's a lot of special interest that comes in and out of politics, as we're all aware of, and you just got to put it aside, and you got to run it on a common sense approach to your spending and to your communication and to everything that you have. It's common sense. Like I say, you're not going to please 100%. It's 50-50. So
All right, well, I want to first thank both of you for being here today. I think it's very informative for the residents, and just appreciate your time and your willingness to run too, because that's a huge time commitment, and want to thank you for that. So Randy, any closing comments that you'd like to say today?
Well, I just want to say that I've been on it. I've learned a lot. I've probably made a lot of mistakes, wrong opinions, different opinions, good ones, bad ones, etc. At the same time, I've put in place a sexual predator residence restriction ordinance to keep our kids safe. I successfully negotiated 2 union contracts for a police department this last year. I also helped negotiate the second school liaison officer to protect our kids. It's about protecting the public with me. Public safety is a #1 issue with me, and that's why I'm kind of driving home the point of the public safety building. And that's one of the key things that this community is really, I think, needs to focus in on in the next few years. And we've got a plan, we've got some things moving, so hopefully sooner than later. Like I said before, the infrastructure I'm focused in on. I want to continue to make sure that all these roads are fixed, and we do it the right way, not the Band-Aid approach. We dig into the roads. If the pipes are bad, we redo it. We can continue to do that at how we're doing this every 2 years on our capital outlay projects. So we're getting it done. Like I said, $14 million is a lot of money.
Yes.
We've accomplished a lot since I've been on the council. I want to continue to grow in a fiscal conservative way and be very mindful of the controlled growth. Everybody wants to have their favorite restaurant, like I say, in their stores. But we got to make sense, and it's got to be supported by, well, for one, the citizens and the infrastructure. And that's because otherwise it just makes us look bad if we can't do it the right way. So common sense approach, and I want to thank you, Vicki, and I really want to thank the citizens of Hudson and the residents of District 1, and I ask for your vote on April 7th.
Great, thank you, Randy. Vicki, any closing comments?
Yes, first, this has been a really rewarding experience, just running for office. I'm really excited about the opportunity to represent my district. That is my agenda, is representing my district and in the best way possible. And so, no, I would just like to say I'm asking for your vote on April 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, excellent. Well, Vicki Erickson, Randy Morissette, thank you so much. They are running for District 1, and I want to thank both of them and you for your time today, and want to remind everyone to get out and vote on April 7th. So for the Western Wisconsin Journal, I'm Mary Claire Potter. Thank you.